Republican senator from Texas, John Cornyn. Senator, thank you for being with us here. I'm going to let you explain your words. How important is this that they get a move on?
Well, in every administration, there are people who are usually subject to some disagreement, maybe whether it's cabinet members or, for example, but where there needs to be debate. But we're now to the point where there are well over 160 confirmations to be held on the floor, and Democrats are forcing us to burn the clock on each of them. We'll never catch up with all of the folks in President Trump's administration when it comes to confirmations, unless we can change the rules and expedite the treatment of these nominees. But it's unfair to President Trump. It's unfair to these nominees, many of whom have quit their jobs and are waiting to be confirmed to serve. And it's also dangerous because many of these folks are U.S. ambassador nominees that will serve in other parts of the world and represent the United States. And I guarantee China and Russia doesn't have any trouble putting their representatives into each of these countries, advocating for their country. We need somebody there in each of these embassies advocating for the American people.
Senator, does the Senate have any levers that you could do to maybe bypass anything that is being obstructed by the Democrats?
Well, I know that, many have said we need to stay here during the month of August, and certainly I'm open to that. The problem is we will never catch up if we have to continue dealing with this unprecedented obstruction. So that's why I have proposed that we change the rules to eliminate some of these unnecessary delays. Ordinarily, these would be agreed to, or there would be a voice vote, a non-record vote that would allow us to expedite the consideration of the nominees and to get them confirmed. But unless this ends, we're going to have to change the way we do business here because the status quo is completely unacceptable.
Senator, you mentioned how this is, of course, unfair to the nominees, many of whom have quit their jobs. You said it's also unsafe, but it also strikes me as this is unfair to Americans who voted for business to get done by this president, by this administration. And once again, we're seeing the Democrats not do what's best for the country, but do what's best for their own agenda.
Well, they are still in full resistance mode. And they have yet to accept the outcome of last November's election. And I know that Senator Schumer, who's the head of Democrats in the Senate, he's worried about maintaining his own seat as the Democratic leader, because as the Democratic Party becomes more the party of AOC and Bernie Sanders, people like Chuck Schumer are an endangered species. And I think he feels like he has to go along with this unprecedented obstruction just in order to survive politically. So we need to, as I said, break the logjam and break the resistance. This is just not fair to the American people. It's not fair to President Trump, and it's not fair to the nominees.
Certainly not. Senator, we hope you do get that breakthrough, and we appreciate you coming on American Agenda today. Good to see you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.